Who are these people?
Yeah, this is kind of like a way change pace, but like we've been kind of talking about in some of our earlier stuff about how like there's the CBDs that are coming and kind of Elon's role in some of that and how he's like, and we've talked about Yakarino. And like, so these things are starting to come together at a rapid pace and we're definitely see them happening. And like, I've just seen like Whitney Webb, who like, if you guys aren't already watching her, like, listen,
I've got
she's been
dude,
like on her shit. Like,
I've got her notifications on, dude. She's a banger after banger after banger.
yeah, so she's been on her shit, fucking grilling Elon Musk, being like, I told you guys this shit like from a mile away for the last like week and a half. So,
So
you know, I picked.
when we put out that video, that like short video where we're like, Fed now on Twitter.
Yeah,
6
yeah.
months.
Well, and I didn't have enough time today.
How much closer are we to reality of that?
Well, now? There's already articles coming out, and I didn't have enough time today to fucking do it. But there's articles coming out as recently as today about how X is introducing a payment system. So literally today they're coming out, but like, and I wanted to find some videos of Elon when they're asked like, what are your plans for this WeChat, this X system? One of the first things he always says is as a payment system, payment processing. He wants to make a bank. Okay, so like Whitney Webb's just like kind of calling these people out, and like I don't know how many people have been like on Twitter and seeing that there's like this whole section of it that's for ad revenue. If you subscribe, if you pay $8 a month, you can participate in the Ponzi scheme. But
that's basically what,
yeah. But you know, she's starting to see. You know, I'll just read it. She said, disappointed in the anti-digital ID CBDC types who are subscribing to be part of Twitter's new revenue model for creators, quote unquote. You are helping create the everything app, plus turning the site into a dystopian bank. Literally, your resistance to this agenda is hollow, and you are a sellout. So, like, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, we kind of talked a little bit about the X being the everything app, and we've talked a little bit about WeChat, but you know, one of the big things, and people were kind of saying this earlier about when this is kind of different, but it's related in this way, is that Elon Musk wants to get rid of the block button. Okay, whether he does or not is something to find out. But he like
I don't think he can.
Yeah, so and that's exactly what I'm glad you asked. So as long as he's on the Google Play and Apple Store, I believe what you're getting at is like one of the conditions to be on the Apple Store on the Google Play Store is you have to have a block button on social media apps, right? And if it's an everything app, you know, there's going to be a time where Elon's able to take his X app away from the Google Play and Apple Store and be like, okay, fine, I'll just do it on my own. You know, so that's the concern here, is that he's like, people are thinking that he's going to let fucking Google Play or fucking Apple stop him when like the whole idea of an everything app is not to be on those markets, it's to be its own market. So, you know, people aren't thinking big enough if they're not seeing that like they're getting co-opted, you know, and this whole the whole ad revenue thing is just to kind of placate to
Elon Musk. Crash with capitalism. I'm trying to imagine how this is going to work out for him. You're going to need to like people are going to need an app store or Google Play Store in order to figure out how to download an app.
I was actually thinking about this while we were watching Tucker like a couple seconds ago. It said like in the bottom quarter like Tucker on X, right? So like, you know, there's probably a company out there like X Entertainment or something, probably some fucking subsidiary out there. So like he's trying to like put his hands in different things and like, you know, the payment system.
He's working
doing the ad revenue thing, seeing that there's like a proof of concepts, because like you do have to link your bank to it. So there's already like I mean, I don't participate in the ad revenue, so I don't know how to do that, but I think it's with Stride. So he has some sort of like bank thing hooked up to it. He doesn't have Fed now yet, but like he's already showing that he's doing the payment processing thing. And that like the thing with the blocking, like that's not people who think like if you think that he like the stores are going to stop him from blocking, like he'll do his own thing. And part of the WeChat thing, the part of the everything app is getting away from those stores and really having its own freaking thing. You know, whether they have X and apps and its own ecosystem within it, and then I don't know, man. I just see like I can see person having to go to like X's website and downloading the app, like side loading it onto your phone, and you
That's
can't.
what I'm imagining. So you're gonna have to work with Apple at some point in order to work that out, like to have it like something a
You
situation.
can side load. You can side load on Apple phones.
Yeah, I know, but it's a little bit more difficult. I'm just saying, like you have to work out some sort of deal with Apple or like these phone companies who are producing the phones to make it so that it's a pre-installed app, sort of like a
Yeah.
clock or like a.
Oh, that's a good point. So it'll be interesting to see how hard he pushes to freaking get it on people's phones, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like he can't.
Ooh, good point, dude.
Like he can. Like I don't think he can push them too hard because if he does, he eventually has to
No,
them about the phone.
but remember, do you remember Yakarino in the video that we showed last time? Like she's like a fucking real like I get fucking like psycho vibes from her as far as like ambition is concerned. Like she's ready to sell the fuck out of like this like take advantage of Elon Musk and use him for the freaking, you know, global agenda that we're both freaking pretty familiar with. You know, I think that she's like as CEO sees herself as like running the show and Elon Musk is like beneath her as far as like this is concerned. Like maybe at one point, like year and a half ago, a year ago, when Elon Musk said he was serious about free speech, like maybe he actually meant it once upon a time. And then like people actually told him what like free speech actually was, and he was like, oh no, not that free speech. You know, and then you have Yakarino who's like smart, ambitious, like doing her own thing, pushing the stuff hard, like make a big deal about appealing to advertisers, making a big deal about like lawful but awful, like censoring content. Like this is going to be a really appealing. They're trying to make it really appealing to advertisers to keep it afloat. It'll be really interesting to see. I think you make a really good point about seeing how they get it bundled on phones. That's like really key because if people don't have to download it, that's like they've already done like
It's already pre-installed. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's actually a lawsuit going on right now with
I remember the old like the early smartphones had like they like pre-installed like YouTube and like.
Well, so
like
so check this out. So remember that there was the lawsuit. You might have been a little bit too young, but there was a lawsuit way back in the day, and it was the antitrust lawsuit with freaking Microsoft, and they lost, and it was because they were bundling freaking Explorer on computers, so they were creating a monopoly. Okay. And so when you told me about that, and there's another one going on right now. I don't know if it's shit. I wish I could pull it up, but there's another thing going on that's just like that right now, with a different app, and it's because they've been pushing it as to being pre-installed. I can't think of it right now. It was on Glenn Greenwald. But
we can dive into this a little bit deeper on.
There's like the same thing there. So it's like getting it pre-bundled. Like I think you're onto something there. Keep an eye out for that, because when you start seeing phones that come pre-packaged with X, then you know that he's already done his homework on that. It doesn't have to get away from the store today. You know, it could still be on the Google Play Store a year from now. But if it starts being bundled on phones, if you start seeing that X icon on new phones, like red fucking flag. I think that's a really good observation.
This is why I love Whitney so much. It's if you think this site will turn out any different, because Musk tweets beams, claims to support free speech, and is going to fight Zuckerberg. You might be naive AF, which is right on the money.
Yeah, she freaking nails it. But it's kind of like at this point, it's becoming so obvious. Kind of like how we're feeling with the pandemic and all the stuff that's coming out, where like she's been on the freaking technocratic shit for freaking years, and is seeing all this stuff come to fruition, and is like, I fucking told you, fucking knuckleheads. Now you're reaping what you sow, and you're seeing what happened, and we need to fucking get the fuck out. So I guess what I got a couple more there, huh?
But yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting that she's starting to see, she's been like harping at people, and I think this is going to kind of, I think what's also, maybe it does only apply to Twitter today, but if Twitter/X has a successful model and they're able to do the kind of stuff that they're set out to, and you see the stuff that Greg talks about with seeing it prepackaged on phones, well, Facebook's going to try and do the same thing, okay? And then what happens? And then we got fucking, they're all going to try and do the same thing. So it's just the nature of it. So, okay, so I guess this is kind of similar, but all these established influencers complaining on Musk's wannabe WeChat that they aren't getting as much Twitter ad revenue as they think they deserve because their social credit score is so telling about who these people are and who they really drives them. So I think this is really interesting. I was looking for some tweets and they got deleted, but this kind of shows the Ponzi scheme of the ad revenue scheme, because you have to be a blue subscriber to be part of the ad revenue scheme, and the only way that you get money from it is from impressions or views from other subscribers. So it's just this like money pit that's in like it's like its own cycle. So people got huge fucking checks. I think we had an episode about that, and we showed a little bit with the huge fucking checks that people were getting. And now the checks are kind of like starting to get dried up. I thought it would take a little bit longer than this, but it's only taken like freaking month and a half. You don't see the freaking tweets where they're showing all those like bags of money and they're showing huge paychecks. No, that went away real quick. And so, familiar with the way Ponzi schemes work is like they had the freaking foot soldiers who were doing Elon's bidding, who's like patting him on the head. Hey, great job. Here's your 10K, 20K, and then that well dries up. And he's like, okay, well, instead of having 500 million impressions a month, we'll make it so you only need 5 million impressions a month. So now more people are subscribing and being like, hey, I can get in on that money. And now the well is going to dry up a little bit more, and the checks are going to get a little bit lighter. And those people who were doing 500 million impressions aren't getting the 10, 20K checks, but they're getting like 4 or 5K checks. They're still getting like checks that are pretty fat for like an average person, but they're not the fat checks they were getting the first month. So wait until 2 or 3 months from now, he's going to lower it again and be like, get in on the action. And the check's going to dry up a little bit more. It's just really sad to see.
He's already having problems with getting advertisers as it is. Like,
that's the thing that I think Yacarino is really sketchy about, is that she comes on as somebody who doesn't give a fuck about speech at all and wants to appeal to advertisers because she wants to do the kind of things that you're talking about. She wants this on everybody's phone. You can play this. This is a good one.
Where
staggeringly they take it down, and that reducing that hateful content from being seen is one of the best examples how X is committed to encouraging healthy behavior online. And today I can confidently sit in front of you and say that 99.
I want to do kind of like a play-by-play because something just occurred to me. So something to keep in mind here, which is like really, I think it's kind of like messes my head a little bit. So it's really interesting to me that she's on, this is CNBC, okay? So the people who watch CNBC, okay, are all people who are in finance capital, okay? However, the interesting wrinkle here is that X is not a publicly traded company. X is a private company. So the majority of people who watch this shit, okay, they cannot, that like whatever she's saying, just like it doesn't future
speculation.
So who is she talking to right now? Who is she
so that they can evaluate the company?
Yeah, she's talking to fucking advertisers right now. Like she's literally at the TV being like, if you work at fucking Pfizer, like if you work at fucking
Please,
like Johnson and Johnson, like I will do what you want me to do. Like please, please, just please. I don't know.
9% of
healthy?
all posted impressions are healthy.
How do you define healthy, though? Is porn healthy? Are conspiracy theories healthy?
You know, it goes back to my point about our success with freedom of speech, not reach. And if it is lawful, but it's awful,
Dude.
it's extraordinarily
So
difficult.
listen.
for you
Here's
to
another
see
thing.
it.
Here's
But how
another.
many-
This is actually really. It's like putting chills down my back. So this is just like back to back. Double speak. This is straight up ingsoc double speak. Okay, like lawful but awful. What was the other one that she said? Freedom of speech, not freedom of reach. Like this is like this is fucking like brain. This is like brainwashing shit.
Yeah. Let's bring back shadow banning. We can do that.
Millions of people follow
Did you say anything else more interesting here?
I don't know, but
That's that.
Kanye West. Lawful but awful.
just like
And he's
just
allowed
fucking
back on.
sketchy. Just fucking sketchy.
You know, Kanye, who hasn't rejoined the platform yet, but is planning to do so, will operate within
Oh, yeah. Is that the video of the
very
Good Cop, Bad
specific
Cop one?
policies that we have
Oh, yeah.
established, that we're clear on, that everyone who's
that the-
watching this or listening
Pull up
on
the actual
Spaces can access themselves. And we have an extraordinary
Vinny
team
Webb actually has a
people.
good take on that. Yeah. So have you guys figured out yet that this is I commented on this, like you just heard my dialogue, but Whitney Webb had something to say on it. What she said. Have you guys figured out yet that it's a big game of good cop, Elon, who loves free speech, and bad cop, Linda, who wants to censor based on vague terms to keep the frogs in the pot just too long enough that people don't notice that they are turning into American WeChat. Scroll down. I think this is the one. Just scroll down. Yeah. Okay, she goes on too much, but it's basically, yeah. So I'm only here anymore to try and help people see the big picture before it's too late. I will never verify this account. Eventually, X will require you to verify if you want to keep using it. Like we've already seen that happening. I have some tweets on that. We'll get to that in a second. What are your red lines when we say enough? Now is the time to figure out. She's like, I can't find the tweet right now, but basically, now's the time to get out of the pot. So there's another one there. You can pull up the PC Mag one, where it says,
Yeah.
So this is like they're at the point where to verify you're going to need to use a selfie. So that's the start, okay? But eventually, it's going to be for everybody because if you put together the way Yacarino is, you put the way together that you kind of see happening. Like she's gonna be like, "What do you guys? What can I do for you guys, advertisers? Oh, you want me to verify everybody? Oh, thanks. Is that what you want me to do? Okay, I'll get right on that. Then next time people will have to update their app, and they'll have to freaking do a selfie to use the app. Like this is gonna be a freaking like industry wide thing. I'm sure this is gonna happen. And then you're going to see advertisers jump over there because it's going to be safe and neutered and sterilized. And then you're going to kind of see this kind of this shift where like other social media brands like Facebook will probably like follow suit and become more homogenized than they are. Like it's just going to be completely devoid of interesting content. It's going to be a nightmare.
You have the Breitbart.
Yeah, so this. So I just wanted to touch upon this really quick because there was the tweet with, basically, Twitter's starting to roll out this thing where you can flag content, and they're starting to like build out their moderation team, and it kind of ties back to this, but there's like a bigger story where, the EU recently started the digital, the DSA. I can't think of what it stands for right now. But basically, they want social media platforms to be more responsible for the content that their users put up, and they want to self-censor more. So X is starting to take steps to do that on their own by people in the EU being able to flag content now. and this gets pushed out tomorrow. So as of tomorrow, the EU has standards that other companies in other countries may or may not uphold to. I know, you have Rumble that refuses to like censor itself for France and is IP locked in France. So it'll be interesting to see if other social media platforms will change their behavior really quick because the EU has recently put this out. What is it called? The Digital Services Act. So basically, it's just a way to control language. But they want social media companies to be responsible for it. And so there's like 19 big ones, basically all the monopolies.
They are. It looks like they're already doing it. I mean,
yeah, Germany has already did it. They fined Elon, but Elon has like an affinity for just saying "fuck you" to fine. So I'm sure that's like.
But is that why you always get those reports? Like in like some popular like
yeah, every once in a while you get a tweet and you'll get something in your DMs that says like it's been reported to freaking German authorities. Yeah. So Germans have I think that's a good question. That's probably what it is. It's happened to me a couple of times where it's like it's been reported in Germany. It's like wow, you guys are pathetic.
They have some of the strictest telecommunications like laws in the world. It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's coming.
Oh, here's
made a bigger thing about this, but I just want
to. Here's a tweet question.
Okay, yeah, here it is. So won't it be great when this rolls out and your account is tied to your government ID and your biometric data? Anyone telling you that this isn't alarming and telling you to verify and subscribe to them on here for their content is a shill and are addicted to Twitter advertising. So you can see the flag right there. So this was like a few days ago? Yeah. So this comes out, the EU DSA Act goes live August 25th, and that's tomorrow. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I guess this is like also for the Germany thing, but you can see that it's like starting to be put out there. I've always felt like my shit gets de-boosted or whatever, but I'll never be able to prove it. But I think that there's like
no, we'll never unless we get like a set. We're just never.
I just think you're going to see this trend of stuff just becoming very, very neutered, and like you see with like Yacarino's ambition and like the way that she speaks, like she doesn't give a fuck about speech. Like this platform.
She's a young global leader. What do you mean?
This platform is it's already kind of garbage, but